Hello dear students, today we are going to start class 10th history chapter 3 nationalism in India part 1. Students, in this part we will cover introduction, effects of First World War, the idea of Satyagraha, the Rowlatt Act, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Nationalism in India. Students, as you have seen, modern nationalism in Europe came to be associated with the formation of nation states. It also meant a change in people's understanding of who they were and what defined their identity and sense of belonging. New symbols and icons, new songs and ideas forged new links and redefined the boundaries of communities. In most countries, the making of a new national identity was a long process. How did this consciousness emerge in India? We will talk this issue in this chapter. Students, as we have seen, during 19th century, the idea of nationalism started in European countries. They demanded nation states. They focused on their identity. They wanted common identity, common language, common culture within a territory. They wanted centralized administrative system in their own country. These issues became inspiration for other countries. In India, as in Vietnam and many other countries, those were colonies, the growth of modern nationalism is intimately connected to the anti-colonial movement. People began discovering their unity in the process of their struggle with colonialism. As we discussed in previous chapter, that imperialism led to anti-colonial movements. The sense of being oppressed under colonialism provided a shared bond that tied many different groups together. But each class and group felt the effects of colonialism differently. Their experiences were varied and their notions of freedom were not always the same. Students, as during the colonial period, people they faced different problems. Because of that, they experienced different things. With the independence, their expectations were different from each other. Their ideas of freedom were not always the same. They expected different things by getting freedom. Their dreams, their expectations were different from each other because their situations, their conditions were different from each other. The Congress under Mahatma Gandhi tried to force these groups together with one movement, but the unity did not emerge without conflict. So, students, in this chapter we will pick up the story from 1920s and study the non-cooperation and civil disobedience movement. We will explore how the Congress sought to develop the national movement, how different social groups participated in the movement, and how nationalism captured the imagination of people. So, students, we come to know that the nationalism is connected to the anti-colonial movement. People began discovering their unity in the process of their struggle with colonialism. The sense of being oppressed under colonialism provided a sheer bond and tied many groups together. The Congress under Mahatma Gandhi tried to forge these groups together in one movement. At that time, there was emergence of nationalism in India, Gandhiji played a vital role in the emergence of the idea of nationalism. So students will discuss about different movements launched by Mahatma Gandhi in this chapter, and we will see the effects of it also in this chapter. Effects of the First World War on India. Students, in the year after 1919, we see the national movement spreading to new areas, incorporating new social groups and developing new modes of struggle. As you all are knowing, the First World War that fought between 1914 to 1918, that brought many changes. First of all, the war created a new economic and political situation. Students, similar to many other Asian countries, growth of nationalism in India associated with the anti-colonial movement, the Congress under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi made the Indian national movement a mass movement. But behind that, we can see the effect of First World War also. Students, First World War created a new economic and political situations in India. Many Indian soldiers participated in the First World War. They fought for Great Britain but racially discriminated on the war front. Thus, they were disappointed with the Indian government during the First World War and the period which followed after it. India faced new economic and political changes. Some economic changes were: it led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, increase in taxes, custom duties were raised, introduction of income tax, villagers, R is missed here. Villagers were called upon to supply soldiers in forced recruitment in rural areas, caused widespread anger. Crop failed in many parts of India, resulting in acute shortage of food. This was accompanied by influenza epidemic. Student, one more spelling mistake. Accompanied by influenza epidemic. The spelling should be ACCOMPANIED. Accompanied by influenza epidemic. So these situations were very critical for India. As we have seen, the First World War led to a huge increase in defense expenditure, which was financed by war loans and increasing taxes. Custom duties were raised and income tax introduced. Through the war years, prices increased, doubling between 1913 and 1918, leading to extreme hardship for the common people. Villages were called upon to supply soldiers, and the forced recruitment in rural areas caused widespread anger. Then in 1918 to 1919 and 1920 to 21, crops failed in many parts of India, resulting in acute shortages of food. This was accompanied by an influenza epidemic that made the situation more critical. According to the census of 1921, 12 to 13 million people perished as a result of famine and the epidemic. So students, these situations were very much critical for the people. Hardship started with the people. People hoped that their hardships would end after the war was over, but that did not happen. Students, people, they thought that one day these all problems will be over, but they disappointed. So in this way we have seen economic and political changes because of the First World War. Britishers, they wanted to take more taxes from Indian people, that is to meet their war expenses. That's why they increased taxes on the people. That made their life miserable. The idea of Satyagraha. While people were facing the hardships, Gandhiji emerged on the Indian political scene with his unique tool of Satyagraha. Satyagraha, according to Gandhiji, was a unique weapon to fight injustice. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915. As you know, he had come from South Africa where he had successfully fought the racist regime. In that, there was discrimination between white and black people. Workers joined there the Satyagraha against racist laws that denied rights to non-whites. Students, Satyagraha was a novel method of mass agitation. Satyagraha. The idea of Satyagraha emphasized the power of truth and the need to search for truth. It struggled that if the cause was true, if the struggle was against injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight the oppressor. Without seeking vengeance or being aggressive, a satyagrahi could win the battle through non-violence. This could be done by appealing to the conscience of oppressor. People, including the oppressors, had to be persuaded to see the truth instead of being forced to accept truth through the use of violence. By the struggle, truth was bound to ultimately triumph. Gandhiji believed that ultimately there will be victory of truth and non-violence. Mahatma Gandhi believed that this dharma of non-violence could unite all Indians. It is certain that India cannot rival Britain or Europe in force of arms. The British worship the war god and they can all of them become, as they are becoming, bearers of arms. The hundreds of millions in India can never carry arms. They have made the religion of non-violence their own. Gandhiji has taken Satyagraha as dharma of non-violence. Three early Satyagrahi movements. After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized Satyagraha movements in various places. Firstly, it was experimented in Bihar. In 1916, he traveled to Champaran in Bihar to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. Their farmers were forcefully, they were bounded to grow indigo on their farms. So it was against that. Then in 1917 he organized a satyagraha to support the peasants of Kheda district of Gujarat affected by crop failure and a plague epidemic. The peasants of Kheda could not pay the revenue and were demanding the revenue collection be relaxed. The third place where he started, that was Ahmedabad in 1918 in Gujarat. Mahatma Gandhi went to Ahmedabad to organize a satyagraha movement amongst cotton mill workers. So in this way Gandhiji launched satyagraha movements in 1916 in Bihar, in 1917 Kheda, Gujarat, 1918 in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Firstly it was in Champaran, secondly Kheda, and third, that is Ahmedabad. The dates are also very easy to learn, that is 1916, Champaran, Kheda 1917, Ahmedabad 1918. The Rowlatt Act. Students, as people, they were taking part in the movements, in the revolutionary activities. Government wanted to suppress these movements. Because of that, government passed one act, that was Rowlatt Act in 1919. This act had been hurriedly passed through the Imperial Legislative Council. Despite the united opposition of the Indian members, it gave the government enormous powers to repress political activities and allowed detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. And this was passed on the recommendation of Sedition Committee chaired by Sir Sidney Rowlatt, and on his name it is named the Rowlatt Act. So student, government wanted to suppress the movements, that's why it passed this act. Gandhiji wanted non-violent civil disobedience against such unjust laws, which could start with a hartal on 6th April. Gandhiji wanted to launch a nationwide satyagraha against the proposed Rowlatt Act 1919. Because that was a brutal act, it was called a Black Act. Because people were not having right to do the trial or defense. The Rowlatt Satyagraha. As I told, Mahatma Gandhi wanted non-violent civil disobedience against such unjust laws, which would start with a hartal on 6th April. Rallies were organized in various cities. Workers went on strike and shops closed. Alarmed by the popular upsurge and scared that lines of communication such as railways and telegraphs would be disrupted, the British administration decided to clamp down on nationalists. Local leaders were picked up from Amritsar, and Mahatma Gandhi was barred from entering Delhi. On 10th April, the police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession, provoking widespread attacks on banks, post offices, and railway stations. Martial law was imposed and General Dyer took command. So students, in this way, the government was very strict because people, they were taking part in the movements, they were protesting against the laws passed by the government. the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Students, on 13 April, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh incident took place. On that day, a large crowd gathered in the enclosed ground of Jallianwala Bagh. Some came to protest against the government's new repressive measures. Others had come to attend the annual Baisakhi fair. Some of the people they gathered there to protest against the arrest of their leader Saifuddin Kichlu and Satyapal. And others, they had come to attend the annual Baisakhi fair. Being from outside the city, many villagers were unaware of the martial law that had been imposed. Daya entered the area, blocked the exit points, and opened fire on the crowd, killing hundreds. His object, as he declared later, was to produce a moral effect to create in the minds of satyagrahis a feeling of terror and awe. He had done this act because his objective was to create terror among the people so that people will not take part in the movements, they will not protest against the government. His main motive was to create the terror among the people. As the news of Jallianwala Bagh spread, crowds took the streets in many North Indian towns. There were strikes, clashes with the police, and attacks on government buildings. The government responded with a brutal repression, seeking to humiliate the terrorized people. Satyagrahis were forced to rub their noses on the ground, crawl on the streets, and to do salam to all sahibs. People were flogged and were villages were bombed. Seeing violence spread, Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement because Gandhiji became disappointed. They started violence that made Gandhiji disappointed. Because of that, Gandhiji called off the movement. While the Rowlatt Satyagraha had been a widespread movement, it was still limited mostly to cities and towns. Mahatma Gandhi now felt the need to launch a movement, broad-based movements in India. But he was certain that no such movement could be organized without bringing the Hindus and Muslims closer together. Khilafat movement. Students, as I told, Gandhiji wanted to unite Hindus and Muslims because without that unity, it was not possible to achieve the target of freedom. That's why Gandhiji wanted to unite both Hindus and Muslims. He wanted that in the movement they both should take part so that it will be more effective. One way of doing this, he felt, was to take up the Khilafat issue. As Britishers were the common enemy for both Hindus and Muslims, Gandhiji wanted to take this issue and unite Hindus and Muslims for the movement. Students, the First World War had ended with the defeat of Ottoman Turkey, and there were rumors that a harsh peace treaty was going to be imposed on the Ottoman Emperor, the spiritual head of the Islamic world, the Khalifa. To defend the Khalifa's temporal power, a Khilafat committee was formed in Bombay in March 1919, a young generation of Muslim leaders like the brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali began discussing with Mahatma Gandhi about the possibility of a united mass action on the issue. Gandhiji saw this as an opportunity to bring Muslims under the umbrella of a unified national movement. At the Calcutta session of the Congress in September 1920, he convinced other leaders of the need to start a non cooperation movement in support of Khilafat as well as for Swaraj. So students, here we have seen that Khilafat movement was launched by Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. The Khilafat movement 1919 to 1924 was a pan-Islamic political protest campaign launched by Muslims in British India to influence the British government and protect the Ottoman Empire during the aftermath of First World War. The Khilafat movement was an agitation by Indian Muslims allied with Indian nationalism in the years of following World War. First, purpose was to pressure the British government to preserve the authority of the Ottoman Sultan as Caliph of Islam following the breakup of Ottoman Empire at the end of the war. Now test your progress. After the explanation, some questions are here. Try to solve these questions. How did the First World War create a new economic situation in India? Explain with examples. Which three early Satyagraha movements were organized by Mahatma Gandhi? Evaluate Satyagraha movement of Gandhiji against the proposed Rowlatt Act 1919. How did the First World War help in the growth of the national movement in India? Explain. So students, these are some questions. I hope easily you can do these questions. Thank you.